Bonjour and welcome to this 8th and final video of this GDL tutorial. In this video, we will put some finishing touch to our code so it becomes a bit cleaner and more maintainable. So here, let us go back to our GDL editor. So first and foremost, I will put some default value that look a bit better than this one here. So here I will put 500 like this, and the height here will be okay. For the leg diameter, we will go a bit lower. And for the leg distance, for example, we will put 1, so it is a bit more spaced. For the diameter, 6 should be a bit better. I will put it at here 450, so it looks good. So for my attributes, all is okay. And now we will go back to our code. So first, we will have a look at code that is repeated across all the script. You can see, for example, here that I have a minus leg distance, b minus leg distance in my 2D script, but also in my 3D script. So those are several instances where I can make mistakes. So here I will simply need to create constant variables in order to avoid having that many points of failure. So here, let me go into my main script, and now we will create a new variable called leg distance A, and another one that we will call leg distance B. The first one will be equal to A minus leg distance, and the second one will be to B minus leg distance here. So now what I will do, I will go into my 2D script, and then I will go to edit and search and replace. Then I will look for A minus leg distance here and replace it with this. Now we have replaced the code here in my 2D script. We will do the same in my 3D script. Command F or Control F, all replaced, and now it seems okay. Let me check my script, all good. And now we will do the same for B. Okay, replace all, and 3D as well. Command F, replace all, and now we have replaced all this similar code that could pose an issue. Because, for example, if I want to change now the code, I can simply change it here in the formula, and then it will impact both of our scripts. So this is good for this constant here. Second thing that we can improve is this here. You can see that we have the same code. We cannot really change it that way, but we can make it so that it doesn't really make our code messy. We have simply a way to combine two lines into one is by using a column. And that way, here that code is directly related to this line here. So now we can put it on the same line, and we only have to care about the hotspots to basically information. Like this, like this, like this, and like this. Okay, and now our code is a bit cleaner as well. I will copy paste this, and we will do the same in 3D. Up. Okay, so like this. And then I will delete those here. Here, 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 and here. We will do the same with the dynamic hotspots as well. And like this, we simply have 3 lines because we have 3 hotspots. It divide the number of lines by 2. So that's why when you have some kind of code like this, it's better to put it on the same line. Here, this is good. Here we can see that we also have some repetition here. That is very annoying because if I make a change, I need to make it twice, and copy paste often leads to issues. So what we will do here is introduce a new concept which is called subroutines. Subroutines are basically part of codes that are put outside of the base part of our code, so it can be called in several different places. That way, you have only one source of code that can be put into different places. So in order to create subroutine, first we need to here end the script here, the 3D or the 2D, for example. Then we need to create a subroutine. In order to create a subroutine, the subroutine needs a name. That name can be a text or it can be a number. Here we will use text because it will be easier. So for example, here this is a panel, so we will call it panel. Then it needs a colon. And at the end of that subroutine, it needs the return keyword. The return keyword will simply return the information that is within the subroutine. Here I will copy paste this here to the panel subroutine here, and now we have created a first subroutine. The only issue is now we need to go to the subroutine. So we need here to use a new keyword which is called goSub, and which take here an argument which is the name of the subroutine. And here, if we go into our 3D, we see nothing has changed. Here, everything is working properly, but here our code is smaller. And most importantly, I can replace this here. So now I have the same source for the same geometry. Here it is good practice as well to put a title after the end, so you have an actual separation between the end of your main part of the code and the subroutines. So here I will give it a title name that is subroutines, like this. So we can do the same for this one here. And this is also the reason why I didn't want to put here the location and the 3D transformation directly within the command. It would have been easier to copy paste when we did the cuts into the panel, but here you can see that now I can optimize my code because this is the same. So here this is the legs. So what I will do is that I will create a new subroutine called leg that will return this code. Here, it is also good practice, at least for me, to put a tabulation that way. So here you can see that I copied something that I shouldn't. So here I will just put it back here like this. And now I will goSub the leg. Do the same here for this one, and this one. Like that, we can avoid issue between the same style of code here. Also, we can put some codes that are not necessarily repeated, but can be put into a specific block. So here, for example, for the hotspots, I can choose to put all my hotspots into a subroutine. So for example, here, this will go like this: hotspots, colon, return, and then I will put this part here directly as this, put a tabulation, and then call it hotspots. I could also put the dynamic hotspot as well if I want to, like this. Here, I can now delete all those separations, so my code is a bit cleaner. I can also, if I want to, for example, because now you can see that I have a 2D transformation here and a 2D at the end, which are very separated. Well, I can put all this code into one single subroutine as well. For example, here, I will put here a table subroutine that will return all that is between the first transformation. And you can see here that I can call a hotspot, I can call subroutine within a subroutine. Like this. And for example, here I will separate it with simply a double line, like this. And now I can then here put a better separation so it is a bit more visual, like this. And here. And for this one, I will just go sub, table, preview, all is good. My 3D looks correct. So here we will simply optimize the 3D script. You can do the same for the 2D script as well, but it was simply just to show you that, for example, here we simply now have this part of code, which is the main part of our 3D script, and everything else here is subroutine. And that way, my maintenance is a bit easier than if it was all the messy like before optimizing this. So here we will save. And what we will do finally is create a preview picture. Because for the moment here, you can see that the preview picture is blank. So here I will go back into my project here. I will choose a view, for example. I can or cannot have a slab. I will simply delete the slab here. We do not necessarily need it. And I will give here the surfaces that I want it in the preview picture. So here, this will be back here, and the legs will be here in Chrome, like this. And I will also resize this so it is a bit more slender that way, like that. So the preview picture usually is a square. So here we will go into our documentation, image creation, and then we will go into our option. The minimum when it comes to the dimension is 128 pixels, but I would recommend 256 as the image would be a bit better into the library manager. Also important to note, the image is embedded in the object file. So that's why it's better to not do something like 124 because your GSM will be quite heavy ultimately. So here I will then go into my settings here. I will go into the environment, which is the sky, and then I will use a gradient here, but that gradient will be white on white, which is already the case here. And now you can see that the preview picture kind of looks like I want. It's good to have a white background like this, so when I am in my library manager, it looks good. So here I will just go back that way, zoom in a bit more, like that, and put it at an angle here, and let's go. Okay, so I will just put it a bit more higher, like this. Okay, so that will be how it will be. And then what I will do here is simply Command A, or Control A, select all, copy here, and then I will go here into this preview here and click on this button. And what I will do then is paste. And now it is automatically, it will automatically update here the image into my object. You can now see that the picture is here. If I save and then go back into my project here, I can here delete this. I click in my object and its option, and now you can see that I have a proper picture. You can also see that the white background isn't totally white, so it would probably need some kind of photoshopping in order to have something that is a bit better. And as you can see for this one here, but it's up to you to do it on your own. The idea is that the white background will always be the best choice here when you have several objects. So that is all for this video and tutorial. I hope that everything was clear enough when it comes to my explanation, and that this tutorial was helpful to you ultimately, and can make you a better ArchiCAD user with better skills in GDL, so you can become an asset for your company or your office. If you have any question regarding this tutorial, do not hesitate to ask them in the comment. I will try to answer them as soon as possible. If you want to improve after this tutorial, I have two advice. First one is, well, to find a piece of furniture or sanitary terminals or stuff like this in your home that you can measure, that you can find quite easily, so you can recreate them in GDL. That was basically me with this coffee table. This was the first object that I did in my GDL journey, and this was a coffee table that I owned back in 2017. To me, it's really best practice to be able to find something concrete in order to practice your skills. So that's why I chose this coffee table for this tutorial. My second advice isn't really an advice, but it's more a piece of information, is that in parallel to this tutorial, I am creating a course for Udemy or Udemy, I do not know how to pronounce it, but that will go more in depth when it comes to GDL programming. For this tutorial, I try to stay at high level, so the video wouldn't be too long. They still last like 20 minutes for some of them, but at least they were not hours long, so that's why I stayed high level for this one. But for the course that I am preparing, it will be a bit more in depth and probably several hours long overall. So I will put some quick video when it will be released, and some links in the description of this tutorial for the people that would be interested in this kind of course. So that is all for me. I wish you a good day or a good night, and hopefully I will see you soon with some new videos. Au revoir.